Thank you. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to take this time to introduce someone who is very dear and near to my heart. He is a very intricate part of my life, and not only that, aside of creating music and videos like the one you're about to watch, he is also one of my biggest inspirations. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome my baby boy, my one and only son, Chico Talib Santiago.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Chico Talib Santiago, and on behalf of my dad, Mason Santiago, and all of the SL Trendz Highlights show staff, we would like to apologize for such a long delay for the SL Trendz Highlights show's originally scheduled show release date, which would have been February the 14th, as the show was intended for Valentine's Day at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Due to some unexpected turn of events, my dad and the rest of the show staff were forced to postpone production of the show in order to work out a few technical issues. And now that it has all been resolved, ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to introduce to some and present to others the all-new first season premiere of the SL Trendz Highlights show. We hope you enjoy it, and thanks once again for patiently waiting.
You see there, Chief, I told you you could do it, son. I'm so proud of you. To moderate.
On behalf of all of us here at the SL Trendz Highlights Show, we'd like to wish each and every one of you, our viewing audience, a very prosperous and successful Happy New Year. We would also like to thank each and every one of our subscribers, not only for your subscriptions, but also for your loyalty and support of our YouTube channel. We know that many of you have patiently awaited our return, and it is with high hopes that you will not be disappointed. Day-to-day circumstances played a huge part in our inability to bring you new content as often as we'd hoped. But again, on behalf of everyone on our staff, we thank you for your patience and understanding. And now, without further delay, we proudly present to you the new season of the SL Trendz Highlight Show.
That's right, guys. Keep it locked right here.
Coming to you live and direct from the SL Trendz studio in the beautiful Santiago City in Second Life. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the SL Trendz Highlight Show, bringing you the latest and greatest in Second Life entertainment news. SL Trendz. And now here are your hosts, Mason Santiago, Roland Manor, and standing in for Ryle Santiago. Please welcome our special guest host, Ryle Jr. Santiago. And now, here's Roland Manor.
And it's a beautiful, bright, sunny day here in the beautiful and all-new Santiago City. And my name is Roland Manor, and I would just like to say that first off, I'm not only very elated, but I'm very happy and proud to be one of the newest members here on the SL Trendz Highlight Show. Mason, Mark, and all of the rest of the staff had many meetings all during last year, just trying to prepare for this year's all-new season of SL Trendz. And I must say that even as a fairly newcomer to the team, who, by the way, has truly embraced me with so much love and support, as they've all been very patient and polite while trying to help me to not only learn, but to really just be at my best. So, with all of that being said, Mason, I just wanted to take this moment to thank you and Mark for both being so instrumental in helping me through all of the learning curves I had to endure in order to compete for this position. Because looking back on it, I know I had some pretty steep competition last year when you all were trying to decide on the right team to kick this year's show season off. Wasn't there like 5 other guys trying out for this other than myself, who would make it 6 in total?
You know, Roland, gentlemen, before I answer that question, I would just like to say we here at the studio, all of us, the staff, myself, we're just excited and grateful to have you on board as well. And hopefully this will continue on throughout the course of the years to come. We were really anxious and excited to have you on board, though. And the suggestion did come on my part. And to answer that question right quick, there were actually 6 of you guys when we did finally make our final decision. Prior to that, I believe there was like, I think Randy said there were like 8. I think there was like 8 initially, and it narrowed down to the 6. You guys were like the final 6, and you were the one that I felt would be the strongest contender of everyone else there. There were some great guys that actually tried out. There was a lot of great talent, but I think you outshined them.
Oh wow! Thank you so much, Mason. Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Even before this whole tryout for this new season and how we want to try to I guess reintroduce the show. But by adding like another host or so, just having just the way we made these different changes. And I was gonna say though that you were to me a strong candidate for that because of the fact that you've already been with us for so many years. Ever since the show started, what people don't know, because you started here with the internship, and from the internship you progressed to even helping with some of the production things with the production team.
Wow! Thank you guys. I'm
enthusiastic, energetic, outspoken, very articulate, I might add. And we all really know you anyway. As you can see, they're flashing some pictures of you and I doing some shopping for you. But the whole point I'm making is that you've always been a part of the family, in my opinion. So it's kind of like, why funnel through like all these new people when we already have a personality and a person that we know like family who would just blend in perfectly, in my opinion. So yes, hopefully that answers your question. But yes, there were actually 6.
Yeah, I thought it was something like that, but I just wasn't quite 100% sure because I never got to actually meet the other guys who auditioned. But anyway, as I said, I'm very glad to be on board. And well, folks, as we kick this year of 2024 off, we here at SL Trendz Highlights would just like to do a recap of all of the exciting and innovative things that occurred during the wonderful, creatively innovative year of 2023. And of course, Mark is much more on all of that. Mark, take it away, buddy.
Thank you, Roland. Now, the year of 2023, in my opinion, was a year of innovation in Second Life by shining its spotlight on many of the Second Life's video content creators, or better yet, we'll just say Second Life videographers. For as we'll touch on a little later in the show, this month of February also launched the highly anticipated and one of Second Life's most prestigious video award shows called the SL Creators Awards.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, the 2023 Creators Award goes to Candido Ferrari.
The show paid homage and gave out awards to some of Second Life's top video content creators within the Second Life grid. Now, although the award show brought attention and awareness to many outstanding video content creators, and rightfully so, we noticed that there was no mention of one particular video that we here at the show thought was not only highly innovative and unique, we even thought perhaps it should have been included in those nominees, considering this particular video showcased many Second Life content creators in a sort of montage-like fashion. The video was of course produced and introduced by none other than a very familiar Second Life content creator that one of our show's other divisions called SL Model Magazine featured in an article a few years back. If you've already guessed the name of the person I'm speaking of, then you'd be 100% correct if your guess was the very talented and gifted, and might I add, a friend to our show, Mr. LP Kid. Now, if you care to see the full edit of this magnificent video montage by Mr. LP, you may visit his page at LP Kid on Facebook. We can assure you, you will not be disappointed.
The night is still, quiet, and young. They just returned home from a classic wining and dining. He offers a glass of red wine. Then he sits and just begins to admire her standing there in front of him as the dim, subtle glow of the moon cascades across her skin. She gazes at him as he looks upon her with a deep stare. The sexual tensions begin to rise in the both of them. She slips out of her garment, still standing in front of him, as if to showcase and advertise her beautiful, curvy, silky body. The blood begins to race through his veins. Her heart begins to pound faster as the moment intensifies. He can almost taste her sweet fruit as his imagination soars, leaving him with a throbbing erection in his pants and causing him to almost lose control as he gazes upon her beautiful body. With short, panting breath, he breathes deep and fast, heart pounding faster as both of their bodies yearn to connect. To ease the mounting tensions in his pants, he slides his hands slowly across his crotch as if to massage away the building, throbbing, pounding sensation in his genitals. She notices his hands and begins to move in just a little bit closer, all while teasing him with intense, flirtatious movements with her body and supple breasts, while he leans back onto his new Vouvantine heart chair by Sources. Nothing else is romantic like Vouvantine.
And that commercial clip you just saw was about the Vouvantine heart chair, which was also introduced last year during the month of February. It is by the company called Sources, who is also one of our show's longtime friends and proud sponsors of the show. Folks, I gotta add this plug regarding this really high-quality detailed chair. Let me tell you, I own one myself because Mason told me about it after he purchased his. And what I like about this chair is the fact that it has some of the best animations, I think, in all of Second Life. And believe me, folks, I am not saying that to create any sort of hype. That is just simply the truth. So with that being said, I would just encourage you all to go and have a look-see at the Sources main store here in World, and not only see for yourself, but just check out all of the unique and amazing furnishing designs created by the Sources brand.
You know what, Roland? I definitely have to agree with you on the fact that I too think Sources has some really great animations for their furniture. Because as you already know, I spend a lot of time over my Uncle Mason's house, and he has like beds and sofas, and he even has a bathtub made by Sources as well. But one of the things I've always enjoyed about staying over my Uncle Mason's house is definitely his furniture, because like you just said, the animations are absolutely incredible. But another thing I think should be mentioned as well is the mere fact that Sources even has some of the most rarest and unique furniture designs in the grid. I mean, you can tell the creator is very creative, because like even when you visit the main store, which I've actually been there at least 3 times, it's almost like you're venturing into the creator's mind or something. He really has a vast imagination, in my opinion. Would you agree?
Oh yeah, although I have not yet been to his main store because my wife does most of the house shopping, but just based on the stuff I've seen from his collections, he most certainly has a vast imagination. So yeah, I definitely agree with you there, Junior.
Well, speaking of vast imaginations, someone else in the grid also has a really vast imagination when it comes to his creations, and I'm speaking of none other than Vladdy. Now, for those of you who are into the more urban/Afrocentric sort of hairstylings, then trust me when I tell you, you guys are going to go crazy over what I still consider a fairly new store to the grid, and that is the flagship store called Vladdy.
Roland, one of the things I love about this store is he has some of the most amazing hairstyles, especially if you like dreadlocks or braided hairstyles. Another thing I like about his hairstyles is although I'm sure they can be worn as unisex, they are very fitting for men who consider themselves masculine. You know, I say what I'm about to say, not to be offensive, but rather I'm just stating a very crucial point that many of the straight men in the grid would appreciate, I'm sure. And that is that his hairstyles are truly masculine, in my humble opinion. I say that because for us men who are heterosexual, Second Life can be sometimes oversaturated with very feminine-looking male clothing and even hairstyles. And for men who are gay or even bisexual, that may not necessarily be a problem. However, you do have a relatively decent amount of men who are not really into having the so-called unisex look. And by that, I'm just saying those looks that are created to cater to both males and females, which oftentimes cause the apparel and or hairstylings to lean a little bit more towards the feminine side. And for a really straight masculine man, believe me, that is a real turnoff. So whenever I personally come across stores like this where things designed for men actually look like it's designed for a man, I am instantly a fan.
You know something else, Junior. I think another great and honorable mention as it relates to great Second Life hair stores that I think is still relatively new as well is Eagle Lux. Oh, and by the way, when I say relatively new, I'm not meaning that literally, because I do realize that it has been around for some time now. However, among hair stores such as Unorthodox, for example, it is still relatively new, at least to you and I as we were discussing earlier before the show.
Yeah, right, that's
and
true.
Speaking of the Unorthodox hair brand, they also created something pretty innovative, and as far as I know, it was also a first here in Second Life, because I have never seen anything like it until its release by Unorthodox back in February of 2023. They release a unit called Scalps, which allows its users to switch between multiple BOM hair-based styles while using this one particular unit called Scalps. Now, I personally found this item to be extremely handy, especially if you're the type of individual who loves to sort of consistently change your hairstyle looks.
Right.
And I especially believe that this was most certainly probably a big hit amongst the females in Second Life as well as the male avatars here in Second Life. But if you found the new Scalps hair-based unit to be helpful or convenient in any way, we'd really be interested in hearing some feedback from you all, our viewing audience, just to sort of see what you guys think about it and why you like it so much. And if you don't care for it, please share with us why you don't. Be sure and place your thoughts and opinions there in the comments section alongside of your in-world name, and you could end up being a lucky winner of a Super Linden Prize giveaway of 1,000 Lindens.
Wow. That's a nice giveaway. And yeah, you know, Roland, I also like it when Unorthodox does their hair collaborations with other brands, because I think they come up with some really cool creations in that regard as well. In fact, they drop a really nice collaboration creation called Bars Simpson this past November of 2023, I believe, which were braids. But you could also buy a salon styling chair, which came with this like full sequence animation, which will allow one avatar to play the role of a hair braider. And of course, the other person could sit in the chair and role play as the male or female client who's getting their hair done. But I just found that to be really cool, and the braids look nice too.
Oh yeah, Unorthodox does some great work all the time, but Unorthodox is also definitely one of those veteran flagship stores here in the grid anyway, so technically it really doesn't surprise me when they wow us all with their new creations. Oh, plus, you know how you were sort of saying that you liked the store called Vladdy because they make really nice looking masculine ethnic hairstyle. Well, in regards to what you were saying about the unisex looks, I would like to note that another thing Unorthodox has seemingly mastered, in my personal opinion, is how to make unisex hairstyles that are really suitable for both genders. Because like you mentioned about the Bars Simpson style, I mean, you do realize that they included some BOM hair-based add-ons which allow its user to choose between a more softer feminine hairline versus a more masculine hairline for the males, which I think is always a really nice touch.
Oh yes, of course. But don't get me wrong, Roland, I wasn't implying that all of the stores had feminine unisex styles. I was just speaking more so in general. You know what I mean?
Oh yes, indeed. I read you loud and clear, Junior. Well, folks, hair scalps and hairstyles aren't the only things that's new. We've made a few awesome new changes right here on our show as well. And we figured what better time than now in this new year and new month of January to reveal some of these new segments on our show. Now, of course, time won't permit us to present everything on this episode right here, but I can promise you guys, if you stay tuned, you won't want to miss any of them. We've got two that we're going to showcase tonight. And the first one is from one of our newest members here at Trendz, and it's a new show we call Trendz Premieres, hosted by our very own Sir Felix Winlow III.
That's right, and as many of you may recall, last year my Uncle Mason released a comedy film short called Scenarios, which was what he also called a random film decision. Nonetheless, during the release of the film, they had a private screening, and Felix was able to get a quick interview with a couple of the actors in the film, one of which was my little cousin Chico Santiago. Shout out to you, Chico. and also a newcomer to the Slim's 4-film world, Miss Sister Girl Kiyori.
And it doesn't stop there, folks, because if you have been following any of our older Trendz shows, then I'm sure you all are familiar with another one of our show segments called Say It Loud. Well, guess what? We've updated that part of our show as well. In fact, it is now a spin-off show from SL Trendz, and we now call it Say It Loud Off the Grid, and it's now hosted by two more new SL Trendz personalities, and that is Christian and Jennifer. And as you all know, the Say It Loud segment is the part of our show that features some of the hot topics or random posts in the Second Life Facebook community. All of this is coming right up next.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, your host, Sir Felix Windlow III.
Fly, and y'all just boarding. All my shit be bumping. Fucking over niggas like we laying in a bunk bed. And I'm on the top bunk, why they on the bottom one? Worry about your otherness, cause all my shit be hot as fuck. How the fuck I end up here?
Oh my god, Mason. Okay. Don't you think you might be driving just a little bit too fast? I mean, Lord, you could get a ticket or something. Or maybe even worse, you could get us killed. Slow down, Mason.
Girl, don't get your little panties in a bunch, yo. I got this. Trust me, I got this. Now just sit back, buckle up, and let's go light this party up.
He's gonna kill us.
Welcome to a new show we have here at SL Trendz, a show we call Trendz Premieres. Now, as you all may very well know, one of our show's executive producers, known to all of you as Mason Santiago, who will be utilizing this set and this particular platform to showcase any and or all of his new up-and-coming feature, Second Life films and film shorts, which, ironically speaking, brings me to this next very exciting point, and that is, today I will be having the pleasure to interview this extraordinary creative personality, which, by the way, I'm speaking on none other than Mr. Mason Santiago himself, of course. And also, as an added bonus to today's show, I will also be interviewing not one, but two of this hilarious comedy film's featured co-stars. In which case, one of them happens to be joining me right here in the studio today. And folks, some of you may already recognize him, although he's grown up so much since the last taping we did for our up-and-coming New Year's Eve special. I just find it amazing how fast these kids grow, I tell you. But folks, my special studio guest today is none other than the son of Mason Santiago. And that is none other than this handsome young chip off the old block, Chico Santiago. Please give him a round of applause. Hello, Chico. Welcome to the show. We are so happy to have you here with us today, and I look forward to chatting with you shortly.
Oh, wow. What a great audience. And thank you for having me here, Mr. Felix. What an honor and a privilege to be here with you guys today.
You are watching Trendz Premieres with your host, Felix Windlow. And we'll be right back after this commercial break. Don't miss the encore presentation of Scenarios, Episode 1, starring Mason Santiago and Sister Girl Kiyori, starting Sunday, October 1st. And now back to SL Trendz Premieres, hosted by Sir Felix Windlow.
I'm literally fiending at this point to go out because I'm being tormented with boredom, and all Sister Girl can talk about is some freaking chicken wings. Really though? Okay, so note to self, women are definitely from Venus, or is it Mars? Oh, what the hell? They damn sure ain't from this planet because they just keep thinking about the wrong stuff at the wrong time. Heck, I mean, I just feel like we should be trying to figure something out as far as where we can partake.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the show. I'm Felix Windlow, and as I mentioned prior to the commercial break, it is both my honor and pleasure to introduce my very special guest, Chico Santiago. Please give him a warm round of applause. Chico, my man, it's great to have you here. Now let's dive right into the world of scenario. So, you play the voice inside your own father's head? How did this unique role come about?
Well, Felix, it's a pleasure to be here. The role actually came about through a happy accident. My dad, Mason Santiago, was brainstorming ideas for the film, and he thought it would be hilarious to have me as his inner voice. I couldn't say no to that.
Ha ha! I bet being the voice inside your own father's head must have been quite an experience. Tell me, Chico, were you nervous or afraid about pretending to be the mental consciousness of dear old Dad?
Honestly, Felix, it was a bit nerve-wracking at first. I mean, who wouldn't be nervous about having to channel their own father's inner thoughts? But once I got into character, it became a hilarious and fun challenge.
The wonders of family dynamics in the world of comedy. Now, Chico's scenario is centered around chronic gas, a topic that can make anyone giggle. Where did you draw your inspiration for this unique storyline?
Well, Felix, let's just say that growing up with a mischievous sense of humor in a household where gas-related jokes were always floating around, pun intended, it wasn't hard to find inspiration. We wanted to create something that would make people laugh and lighten the mood. And hey, who doesn't love a bit of bathroom humor from time to time?
Absolutely! Life's too short to take things too seriously, right? Now, Chico, before we wrap up, tell me, what's next for you? Any exciting projects on the horizon?
Well, I'm currently working on a few scripts of my own, trying to carve my own path in the industry. So, as a result, I've been juggling a few ideas and discussing some possible music projects with my dad. I have a cousin named Seven, and he and I both are really big fans of K-pop music. So, we've currently been working on some song demos which feature a few songs with us singing and rapping, so we'll see what happens with all that. But either way, you can certainly expect something from me, because I am a pretty ambitious person, which I think comes from seeing my dad do so many things. So just keep an eye out for something fresh and unique coming your way.
That sounds fantastic, Chico. We'll definitely keep an eye out for your future endeavors. Thank you for joining us today and giving us a glimpse into the hilarious world of scenario.
Well, Felix, I'd just like to say thanks to you and your entire staff for having me here on your show today. And Miss Mindy, who aided me back there in the green room. She was really kind and helpful in calming my nerves. I'm not gonna lie, I was getting a little nervous when I saw how packed it was in here before I came out. But your audience is as incredible as you are, Felix, so I just wanted to say thanks.
Well, on behalf of us all, thank you, Chico.
Yes, sir, you're welcome. And thank you, everybody, for showing me so much love today.
You are watching Trendz Premieres with your host, Felix Windlow, and we'll be right back after this commercial break.
And now it's time for SL Trendz Say It Loud. I'm Christian.
And I'm Jennifer. Now let's dive right into today's topic, which comes to us from the Facebook feed. Christian, take it away.
Man, let me start this video off with a little disclaimer of mine, and I really want you guys to listen very carefully first before you just jump on your keyboard and start typing your bogus objections. One of the biggest issues I have with social media is how so many of you skim through stuff without really either reading what's being stated or, like in this case, just simply listening before you just bust out and start making your little comments and remarks. You'll find that in doing so, most of you are not even responding in context to what was even stated in the first place. Okay, so now that we got that straight, let me proceed by giving you my thoughts on this ridiculous Dr. Phil video I just recently watched. As if the brother in this video wasn't ridiculous enough, the damn comment section is what really got my blood boiling as usual. So peep it, this dude is claiming to believe that he is a cyborg. And yes, you all heard me correct. He thinks and claims to be a cyborg. Well, hell, first off, we are living in a society where people are now able to identify as male when they are actually born as a female, and vice versa. I mean, it's even gotten so ridiculous in this crazy American society that people are now identified as just freaking pronouns like they and them, etc. Anyway, his mother says that for the past 2 years, not only has he been making these claims of being a cyborg, he also supposedly astro projects, and in his mother's opinion appears to be asleep even when they are out on family outings. But don't just take my word for it, just watch these clips.
He's a computer. Your intensity will be matched as we try to save you and everyone that we know.
He talks in a collective, everything is we. He hasn't said I in over a year.
We are alone in this. No one else was chosen to do what we are doing.
Actually, I was chosen for that very purpose and even gave my life for it, dude.
We need to, save the planet from sudden doom. Cyborgs are part machine, part man, but I gave birth to Oren, and he is flesh and blood. I also made lasagna.
And to put that in layman's terms, what his mom is basically expressing to this nut job is that she knows he's not. She's the one who had to push his silly ass out of her pole.
He was zoned out. Astro traveling is where he travels to another dimension where he gets instructions from the higher beings. To me, it looks like he's sleeping.
There is an apocalypse in the future. We have seen it in our dreams and in our visions.
2 years ago, he graduated from NYU Business School with a 3.9 GPA. This isn't the young man that I saw walk across the stage.
And then there's this guy. I mean, why do you always gotta have these kind of people who have to try justifying the ridiculousness? Always making excuses and trying to rationalize everything. All I can say to this guy is, brother, you really need to read your Bible! You'd be amazed when you come to realize that this lazy bum smart college guy isn't revealing anything that the Bible hasn't already foretold. I'm just saying, reading is really fundamental. This college bum didn't fool me at all with his claims of being a cyborg and all the apocalyptic hogwash. In fact, the only one who was as convinced about his wild loony antics was he himself. His mother and Dr. Phil was not even trying to follow him up on all that bull. He was popping. You peep what the doc had to say about it.
Think about what he said so far and what our conversation has been.
I think it's nonsense. I mean, Oren, you're wasting your life right now in your bedroom, living in a fantasy bubble. You're not a cyborg. You're my son, I love you, but you're not a cyborg. And we can't live like this anymore. And you've got 2 younger siblings underneath you who are watching this. What, so that they're supposed to go to college and then end up doing, the same thing, that they can just sit up.
At least they would go to college.
Huh?
At least they would go to college.
Yeah, but it's
Child
go on your journey. And
if anything, we are a role model, showing that we are not letting detractors distract us from our greater vision.
Warren, this is all nonsensical. This doesn't make any sense. This is a vision that is not based in reality. You're not living in a realistic. Based in reality? You're living in my home, and you're not contributing.
Okay, dude should really consider joining Second Life. Dude, I don't care how you label it. This dude is just flat out freeloading on his mom, point blank, period. She even stated earlier in the show that she has given in to him on a few occasions, for example, buying him all those techie devices such as the cameras and computer in his room, etc. This guy claims to be a cyborg from a more advanced world, but doesn't have the capabilities to just build a computer from scratch, instead robbing his mom's pockets for his ongoing cyborg pointless mission. Not to mention, she said she told him he had to go, but then gave in and let him stay instead. So yeah, she's not much help, but he's definitely playing her because he's lazy. In fact, I love how Dr. Phil used his own logic against him. Watch this next clip and touche for the good old doc.
And one of the things that you would know from a scientific standpoint is that you have to consider all data points. You have to consider everything. You don't prejudge anything, right? You gather data. Is it possible that you're delusional?
Hell yeah. He's very delusional.
To you, we might be, but to us, we make perfect sense.
Dude, you haven't given any information that's actually new. That's what doesn't make sense, you float cook. Sheesh.
Well,
Can we give you an example?
That wasn't the question. The question is it possible?
Anything is possible.
To find out, you're coming from the future. What is a message that's new?
Artificial intelligence.
Now wait just a damn minute. I know this clown didn't just say artificial intelligence as if we knew nothing about artificial intelligence, as if none of us know what that is. Dude, just about everybody is engaging with Alexa, Siri, and whatever else artificial software is out there. Heck, even these social media platforms are ran by it. Why the hell do you think we are rated by the algorithms? Ugh, you guys, I just can't, I swear. For someone with a 3.9 GPA, dude is making us black folk look straight crazy, even with a damn degree. Like, oh my God! I digress.
There's nothing novel about artificial intelligence. You know about artificial intelligence because of what you've seen, read, and heard. Here are your cyborg predictions and beliefs. An artificial intelligence takes over the planet. Well, according to James Lovelock, a famed environmentalist, artificial intelligence will soon overwhelm us and remake the world. That didn't come from 2050. That's a very well-publicized position today.
So, yeah, I gotta cut that off right there because I really can't take any more of this foolishness for real. Anyway, Jennifer, you saw it and heard it before we leave. Please share with me your thoughts. Do you think this dude is just trying to put on the I'm a cyborg bit just to get a free ride from his single mom? Or do you just think that he's really suffering from some kind of mental illness? I personally think he's just full of crap and just trying to get over since his mom is such a pushover, and clearly so does Dr. Phil. After carefully analyzing this dude from Dr. Phil's professional standpoint, I think it's safe to say his conclusion seems to veer more towards the guy being just delusional. But what's your take, Jen?
I totally agree with you, although I do believe that there is a such thing as mental illness. That is a very real thing.
Oh yeah, for sure.
However, I believe the issue with most people in most of the comments you read, no matter what the topic is, but especially sensitive topics or discussions concerning things like this, or even worse, depending on the post. But I think a lot of people tend to comment based on their own personal life experiences.
That's right, I agree.
Rather than analyzing a video post and basing their comments within the context of what's being talked about.
Exactly.
Or discussed on whatever the initial video post is. And I'll tell you why I say that. I say it because I often notice people will always start by implying this or that happened to a family member, or even perhaps tell a brief story about a tragic event that happened in their own life. So in essence, they tend to make it more about them, rather than just basing their opinions within the context of the actual post in general. What that says to me is that many people don't have the ability to look outside of themselves. It's either that, or they are just simply full of themselves, because why does everything have to be about you? You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, right for sure.
But yeah, in a nutshell, I really don't even think he's delusional. I personally just think he's a really smart guy, obviously to graduate from college with a 3.9 grade average, if anything. I don't even think he has an issue either. What I do agree with and also believe is that he's just one of those people who chooses this method in order to go against society's standard for normalcy. But I think where people like him fall short in their logic is that they always ride other people who do actually follow society standards for what we consider normalcy. And what I mean by ride other people is basically what you said about him freeloading off of his mother and stuff.
Oh yeah, right.
You see, that's where I have an issue with people like him. Like, first off, I believe it's okay to think whatever you want to think, and heck, just basically be whomever or whatever you want to be as well.
Exactly.
So long as it isn't hurting anyone else. But that's the thing. He's hurting his mother, who is obviously a hardworking single mother, practically pleading for him to be of more help around the house financially, since he is a young adult after all.
Exactly.
It's like he wants to live his ridiculous fantasy at his mother's expense.
That's right,
and that's the main thing that raised flags for me.
Oh yeah, right.
I can't
right,
stand
for sure.
when people are fully capable of working, especially a man.
Right, for sure.
I don't even like a lazy woman for that fact.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And this guy is very clearly using his mom and playing on her kindness and generosity. He knows she's not going to commit to kicking his butt out of the house.
Oh yeah, right.
So he's pretty much just playing this goofy role and talking about how he wants to spread a message to help mankind. But how can he possibly be serious about helping mankind when he's too selfish to even help his own single hardworking mother?
Exactly.
This woman is practically crying out for his help due to her also having 2 younger children who are dependent on her, and then to have his overgrown adult self just living off of her, and to add insult to injury, he has her buying all of his computers, cameras, and other gadgets. When I saw that part of the footage, I have to be honest, that kind of pissed me off.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So Christian, I think I'd have to agree with you on the fact that I don't really buy his little stunt either.
Thank you.
And Dr. Phil actually made that more obvious by showing him that what he's claiming as some sort of new information, etc.
Exactly.
really isn't anything new. We all know about artificial intelligence.
Exactly.
And with the recent surge of artificial intelligence-based phone apps and computer programs within the recent months and years, I mean, who hasn't heard the rumors about artificial intelligence taking over jobs?
Again, that's the exact same point I was trying to make as well. So yeah, we both can agree on that.
So basically, if that's the best he can do after claiming he's bringing news from 2050, there sure hasn't been much advancements in the future based on his report.
Right, for sure.
Because he said nothing that hasn't already been said or predicted, just as Dr. Phil revealed.
Exactly.
And like you said, the Bible speaks of the end times as well, regarding famine, disease, and plagues, etc. So this guy is definitely a highly educated bum, in my opinion, too. I guess what he does prove is that even if you have a college degree and a high grade point average, even that can't overcome a man or a woman who is just flat out lazy. I just wish his mother would stick to her guns and just put him out.
That part right there.
He's either going to return to 2050 as he claims,
exactly,
or he'll realize life is more real than he thinks and get his ass a job.
Damn!
Sorry. Not sorry.
Look at you, Jan. You're really not having it.
Oh yeah. And one more thing. For the record, since we did bring up the Bible, let me just put this out there. I don't care if a person time traveled from 2050 or whatever century you want to claim. One book that hasn't ever failed yet on any of its predictions is the Bible.
Facts, and them right there are straight facts. Jen, you said it, baby. You know, the Bible is the realness, the freaking source, if y'all want real facts.
And what I do know from reading that is that according to Jesus Christ himself, the only information any of us will ever have privy to as it relates to the apocalypse or the end times are just simply the different signs it speaks of, such as the plagues and the disease and famine. In fact, all of these signs are already in existence as we speak. And I say that because the Bible says that only God in heaven knows when the end will happen. It even states that not even the angels in heaven know the day nor the hour that he shall appear. So it's just best to be ready. No more, no less.
Facts. And them right there are straight facts.
Everybody wants to make it this spooky, scary thing, but it's only scary if you don't have your spiritual life intact.
That part right
and come
there.
to know Christ as your personal savior.
That part.
And everybody has the opportunity while we are here. That is the message of God, and it has always been long before this guy decided to show up from 2050.
Exactly.
We Americans must learn that just because our country may not yet be feeling the burn of all of these biblical catastrophes as mentioned, does not mean that they aren't already actively happening in other parts of the world. There are places in the East where you'll be literally beheaded to even acknowledge your faith in Christ, just as the scriptures warned us. And I am telling you guys that this is happening right now in this day and time. Just as it was predicted, there are tons of scriptural prophecy that have already taken place. But we here in America are too busy living in our own bubble, and we think that until something happens here, it hasn't happened or isn't going to. You've been watching
Say It Loud, brought to you by SL Trendz Highlights. I'm Christian.
And I'm Jennifer.
And join us again on the next
SL Trendz Say It Loud segment.
For more great stories and topics just like this. We'll see you soon.
Don't miss the encore presentation of Scenarios, Episode 1, starring Mason Santiago and sister girl Kiori, starting Sunday, October 1st. And now back to SL Trendz Premieres, hosted by Sir Felix Windlow.
Hey, Kiori.
Oh,
can I get you a picture from me, please? Stunning today. Do you think I could get you to turn this way just a little bit? Hello, Mason.
Marcus said that you were not going to the after party. Yeah. Marcus told you that? Marcus told me. Didn't see him. He said it was around on the other side. I was like, no,
Gentlemen, welcome back to Premiere. I'm your dearly beloved host, Sir Felix Windlow. Now, I don't know about you people, but I am super excited, or as the kids say these days, I'm too amped up and souped for these next two brilliant actors that I'm about to announce. You see, although they are currently attending the premiere showing of their new film Scenarios, they both agreed to allow me to interview the both of them. So now that being said, my dear ladies and gentlemen, will you please help me welcome both of the stars of Mason Santiago's new series called Scenarios. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm proud to present to you Mason Santiago and sister girl Kiori. Mason and Kiori, how are the both of you doing during this time of what I would assume to be a very exciting time for the both of you? You are currently at the theater there in the beautiful Los Santiago City, I see. So I'm going to try and make this interview as brief as possible. So let's direct these first few questions to the beautiful and absolutely stunning Kiori.
She's so sweet. Everything's unexpected moment.
Kiori, your comedic timing in Scenarios is impeccable. How do you navigate the unexpected moments and keep the audience laughing through it all?
Well, first off, Felix, thank you for that incredible introduction and the warm welcome from all of your wonderful audience. But to answer your question, Felix, I love making people laugh, so putting a smile on people's faces is like a superpower for me. It's all about spontaneous improvising with a smile. Just going with the flow is what I do best.
Your character's friendship with Mason is a central pillar in the film. How did you handle the unexpected challenges that their friendship faced throughout the story?
My character is a ready-for-anything type of girl, so I was able to handle it all very well. Our friendship throughout the story is a cool one, so, it's kind of how one would act with a sibling, fun and fancy-free. And Mason is also very easy to work with, and he's very funny, which made any unexpected challenges easy to get over. Well, sort of, as seen in the video. Our characters did, however, get through them as smoothly as possible.
In scenarios, unexpected turn of events, we witness the unexpected consequences of chronic stomach gas. Can you share with us any unexpected moments or challenges that you faced while filming those hilarious scenes?
Trying not to laugh was a big challenge for me. I had to focus when it was my turn to say my lines, and that was not easy. It certainly wasn't easy to stay in character, but I did it.
Scenarios reminds us that life is full of unexpected surprises. What message do you hope viewers take away from the film about embracing the unexpected and finding humor in challenging situations?
The message I would say they should take away from it is to try not to get too emotionally attached in a negative way towards challenges. We all face them. Like the saying goes, just let go and let God. Bad times don't always last, We have to learn how to laugh a little along the way, because even though times can be rough, a positive attitude will help you get through it. And whatever you do not give up when faced with challenges, because you're going to be okay. And you will get through them.
Sister Girl. As an influential figure in the virtual world, how do you think scenarios? Unexpected turn of events reflects the unexpected turns and surprises that we encounter in our own lives.
In unexpected turn of events, even though our characters didn't expect what had happened, they handle it. It shows us how we can stay strong, how we can remain positive, and how we can readily find solutions in any given situation. Plus, throwing a little humor into the mix can help us out a lot.
Stay tuned for more with Felix Windlow and Mason Santiago, right here on SL Trendz Highlights Premieres, right after this commercial break.
And there you have it, folks. Just a couple of samples of 2 of our new shows that are coming to the new season of SL Trendz Highlights. But it doesn't just stop there. Although we are pretty much out of time, we will be picking back up where we left off with the rest of the Trendz premiere show with Sir Felix Windlow and his exclusive interview with Mason Santiago. And also, we have yet another exciting new show entry called One-on-One, which is hosted by Mason Santiago. He will be interviewing singing sensation Mikey LVR and the owner and founder of one of Second Life's top clothing and fashion designers, Mr. David C. Heather.
We will also be highlighting more recaps from last year, as well as bringing you guys some more of the latest and greatest here in Second Life. All this and so much more coming soon in the next SL Trendz Highlight Show. So you guys be sure to tune in, because I assure you, you won't want to miss Mason's exclusive interviews with David C. Heather and Mikey LVR. I don't know about you, Roland, but I'm really looking forward to both of those exclusive interviews, because I heard they were really interesting and revealing some really deep aspects of both of their personal lives as well as professional. And I don't know about you, but I'm one of those guys who always wonder how a person really is behind all of the glitz and glamour, you know what I mean? Especially in today's climate.
Oh yeah, Junior. It's always cool to see if the Second Life celebrities think like us normal folks, Anyways, guys, that's all the time we have for now, and until next time, we bid you all a wonderful and prosperous week. And from all of us here at the SL Trendz Highlights Show, we thank you for joining us today. Please be sure to like, share, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. Your love and support is always greatly appreciated. And be sure to leave a comment if you got a chance to see the big money question of the day. You could win 1,000 lins if your comment is picked, so be descriptive and give us your feedback regarding that question of the day. And while I'm on the subject, giveaways like that will also be periodically included in all of our other forthcoming episodes as well. Okay, folks, so that about wraps it up. My name is Roland Manor.
And my name is Rael Santiago Jr., and I'll be standing in for my father, Rael Santiago, until he returns from his vacation.
Alrighty then. Have a great rest of your week, folks, and we'll see you again soon.